Hello, hello. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing great. Weren't the past few episodes just so good with Mary Beth Bone? She has learned so much. She and her husband have done so much for PMDD awareness and they're continuing to do it. It's so awesome. Those episodes are information packed. There's a ton of information on the slides that Mary Beth shows during part 2 and part 3. So you can go to the YouTube version if you want to and watch it. Today is the 100th episode of Living Well with PMDD, this podcast, and it made me think about what would be a really important thing to share with you. I chose to do this around planning and decision making with PMDD. The whole purpose behind this episode is to increase your odds of having a good experience with your family on that trip or vacation, a good experience in doing a certain work project, a good experience at home with something you're working on. We just want to increase our odds, and we have a lot of power to do that. There's really two objectives. I want to give you a general idea as to when to make what decisions and what decisions to schedule when. Okay, so when to make what decisions and when to schedule what. To start this out, I want to review about the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle and why, for these purposes, for decision making and planning, I have shifted to a 2 phase model instead. And then get into when to make what decisions and when to schedule what. Then we're going to talk about when you can't schedule something to be in the phase that you will easily show up the best, how to address that. In the past and all over the internet, the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle are outlined. In episode 5 of this podcast, I talk about the menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulation phase, and the luteal phase. They overlap though. So menstrual and follicular both start on day 1 of your cycle, and ovulation and luteal start mid cycle. So around day 14. I have looked at these 4 phases as I've tried to plan events and look at where I'm going to be during Christmas time. It's been difficult in having a good way for me to, in a general sense, plan and move forward on plans. But I found a good way in talking with Mary Beth and in doing the podcast with her. She talks about and she shows her slide of 2 phases of the menstrual cycle, the follicular phase and the luteal phase. And when she brought this up, I just thought, man, that might be easier for planning. So I've been experimenting with it for the last 4 months and it's been really effective. You're still a person and we all have emotions. We don't get to just not have emotions, not have bad days, not have times where we overreact, times that we feel unsure. That's part of life. But this increases our odds of having a good experience with events and commitments and scheduling. I want to put in a plug for my brand new Whole Woman PMDD Stabilization Guide. And I'm showing it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it. It's a gentle guide to understanding PMDD and feeling like yourself again. I encourage you to get this. Just download it. There's a link in the show notes. I want to read to you from the guide. Many women describe PMDD as feeling like 2 versions of themselves. Follicular phase, clear-minded, hopeful, social, patient, steady, or stable. Luteal phase, foggy, doubtful, withdrawn, reactive, overwhelmed. During your luteal phase, you don't feel this way the whole time, but you're going to have days that feel like that. The follicular phase is day 1 through 14, and the luteal phase is day 14 to 28. You can think of your follicular phase as your yes phase when you are scheduling, and your luteal phase as your no phase when you're scheduling. We want to schedule commitments you have during your follicular phase. When to schedule what? Follicular phase: weddings, parties, events, cruises, vacations, and any medical appointments, dental, eye appointments. Try to schedule those in the follicular phase if you can. Things to schedule in the luteal phase: projects, follow through, finishing, things that really matter to you, things of eternal importance. Eyesight can be variable around ovulation and at the onset of your period when you're going to bleed. I've talked about this with different optometrists. I've also noticed this with dental appointments. And I have some recurring dental aches and pains during my luteal phase. I have gotten dental work done. I've gone and I've been like, this is really bothering me. And I have realized just in the last 2 years, it's the hormone shift. It affects how my teeth feel. If this doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. Just chalk it up as, oh, this is interesting that Heidi experiences this. Maybe it'll come into play later in your life. Maybe it won't. Let's move on. When to make what decisions? You want to make these decisions during your follicular phase. Big life moves, like to move to a new city, a new wardrobe. You want to refresh your wardrobe. Make those wardrobe decisions during the follicular phase. Career decisions or a career change. Make the decision, final decision anyway, during your follicular phase. To quit your job, final decision comes during follicular phase. A bold move in your job, make the decision to make the move during your follicular phase. It's okay to mull over something for a few months and have all sorts of thoughts during that time, but make the final decision during follicular. Then luteal phase can just totally support you. The follow through we are capable of in luteal is amazing. I've heard people call PMDD a superpower, and I think that's where that comes in. You can really back decisions you've made and really follow through and push through on them during that time. A decision on we're going to take a cruise or we're going to do this big family vacation, make that decision during follicular phase. The reason you want to do that is because all of these decisions that we make, we then still live with the decision during luteal. And our experience during luteal is going to be highly affected by what the decision is, but also how it was made. If it was thoughtful, if it was very random or a rash decision, then we need to live with that during luteal or during follicular. So let's say in luteal, you and your husband are like, ooh, let's go on this cruise. Let's do this thing. And you're like, yeah, let's do it. Then you hit follicular and you're looking at it and you're like, wait, our finances don't quite line up with doing that cruise at this time. But we already scheduled it. We've already taken off work. In luteal, you do want to take a lot of actions sometimes. Sometimes you're depressed, but sometimes you want to take a lot of action. And so you take actions on the decisions you make. Then you just have to work from there forward. Okay, are we going to cancel the cruise? Are we going to stretch our dollars? Are we going to revamp our budget? That's just something you're going to face. But it's so much easier to support yourself if you've made that decision from a more clear minded place, a more hopeful place, social, stable place. Luteal can feel so powerful and so exciting, or it can feel pretty hopeless. And decisions from those places are just not always the best. Decisions to make during luteal are saying yes to following through. We knew what we were talking about during follicular. That was a good decision we made. So let's back that decision. Be bold in the how. We decided we are going to move to a new city. Now in luteal, you're going to plan the how. How are we going to make this happen? Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Awesome. Your luteal version of yourself is incredible at following through. She is amazing at that if you will give her a chance. We are also going to exercise restraint. We are going to talk ourselves away from certain decisions. I did this week. My daughter and I were ordering some eyeglass frames online, and they have that virtual try on. I'd been on this website trying on different ones, and I realized it had been 45 minutes and I was still waffling, not sure which to choose. And like, this one looks really good. No, this one I think looks better. No, I really like this one. I think this is the one. I was like, okay, hold on. This is a hard decision for you right now. You've been trying to make this decision for 45 minutes. You're in luteal phase. Let's just wait a week. We'll hop on here in a week. You'll save yourself so much time and anxiety and effort and everything. That's a decision I tabled. In general, what decisions to do in what times? In luteal, you will want to not make decisions that are stylistic, based on opinion, and again, big decisions. We're going to buy a winter home in Arizona. Don't make that during luteal. And if you don't have your period anymore, you still have some emotional cycles. So if you can look back, or you can use a tracker, make some observations, you're still going to have some sort of ups, downs, feeling very confident and clear minded, feeling less confident. So, what I did with the eyeglasses decision, I noticed this is a stylistic decision. I'm going to wait. I will do that during follicular. I don't know about you, but I have bought clothing that at the time I was like, oh, I really want this. This is so cute. And it has sat in my closet. I really think those decisions have happened during luteal. And I didn't actually make this as clear as I planned to. When you are scheduling commitments that you are a central part of, or you're planning it, or you need to host it, or you're a participant, we want to plan those in follicular. How you do that is, let's say someone calls you and says, hey, can you do the Relief Society activity on May 2nd? And you're like, let me get back to you. Or you pull out your calendar and you look and you see on your calendar, follicular phase, I don't look like I have much around that. Yes. Easy yes. You don't have to say yes. It's still up to you. But let's say it's in luteal, then you take a little more time and you ask, hey, is there flexibility? Could I do that the week before? Or you just decide, okay, I'm going to prepare myself and I'm going to go ahead and do it. I really want to do it. Or you say, no, I can't. Then they find somebody else and that's fine. And then you choose whether or not you attend and it's fine. Life is good. When your daughter, your son, they're going to get married. If you do have a say in when that happens, give your preferences. It can be very helpful for that person. To your daughter, who probably knows about menstrual cycles, probably knows if you have PMDD or some severe PMS going on, she probably knows that you have times where you are more capable and it's easier for you to pull things off, and other times where it's harder. So, okay, if you have an influence, pull out your planner, look at it. What do you think about the June 7th? And if she's like, oh, I don't really, and that was your follicular phase, then you can say, well, the 23rd, I might be a little less social, or you just tell her that's in my PMDD symptom window, but I'll do my best to be fully there, fully present, and supporting you. And you let her make the decision, but it's okay to influence it. With a cruise or a vacation where there's swimming involved, I used to always think, I don't want to be on my period. That limits you to just 1 week of your follicular. If you're bleeding 5 to 7 days and you only have the second half of your follicular cycle before you're a little less predictable, it's still okay to decide I'm going to start the cruise on day 3 because I know I'm at least lightening up. Ultimately, you get to make the decision. You're in charge of your life. You're the number one expert on you. Nobody else is. You are the number one expert on you. Yes, you have to rely on others to help collaborate with you, but ultimately it comes down to you. Okay, some stories. My husband's, when he got home from his first deployment, my parents graciously offered to watch our kids. We had 3 kids at the time, so that we could go to Hawaii for a week, I think. I was so excited. This had been a trip that had gotten put off because of something else. My husband and I were super excited to be coming back together and do this trip. We knew little about reintegration after being apart for so long, and we hadn't had that experience yet. He got home, and we were with my parents for a few days, I believe, and with the kids for a few days, and then headed to the airport. At the airport, there was a fraudulent charge. And the credit card company said, we have to close down your credit card. We only had one. So we ran to an ATM. Our checking account was also with the bank. We took out as much money as we could. They said there were certain things that we'd already paid for that would be fine, but there were other things that weren't. If you can notice, there's a lot of stress suddenly happening in this. Oh, we're going on this wonderful vacation. We get in the plane. We chose a very inexpensive airline. They didn't even serve water. Maybe some of you know what airline this is. This is our first time flying on this airline. And yeah, they didn't even serve water. They only took credit cards for food or beverage. And we're sitting there, we're super hungry, super thirsty, totally dehydrated. Neither of us thought, just ask them if they will buy the food and we'll give them cash. We didn't think of that. Then we have to deal with the car rental, which we ended up having to borrow my dad's card number. We tried to make a decision at that time, which with all that stress and traveling through the night and the different time zone stuff, probably not a great time to make a decision. We wanted to go hike Diamond Head, and my husband wanted to get up really early and go. And I did not. I'm a pretty laid back person in general, and I would not give. He was like, the sunrise will be really pretty. Let's go do this. And I'm like, no, I had no flexibility. And he was like, okay, well, I think I want to go do it anyway. Is it okay if I do it without you? This is where, because of my response to that question, which was, okay, sure, yeah. I think I was in my luteal phase. I think this was PMDD because when I said that, I did not feel that. I felt completely betrayed that he would ever in a million years think of going on this hike without me. How could he do that? This is our vacation. This is one of the first times we've been together after 7 months, 8 months, however long it had been. How could he do that to me? It felt like a total betrayal. From his perspective, she just doesn't want to go on the hike early in the morning, so I'm going to go do it. We also had a lot of other stuff planned, so planning to do it later. Anyway, there were complications with that. I think we talked about doing it another day, and I just was like, I don't think I'm going to want to. Bless his heart, he didn't end up going, but also shame on me. I didn't communicate my true feelings, and we really need to learn to communicate our feelings, even if we can't back it up. Even if it's not, well, I really don't want you to do that because dot, dot, dot. When he asked, is it okay if I do it without you? I'd really feel bad. I mean, I can't make you not go, but I'd feel bad if you went without me. I'd feel like I missed out and stuff. If you're the one with PMDD, you can beat yourself up after once you hit follicular and you're like, why was I so stubborn? Why did I not just say, I want to do that, but another time? At the time, you don't feel like it, but you get to follicular and then you're like, well, I really took a stand and now I would like to go do that hike. But now I'm really uncomfortable bringing it up because I was so stubborn. So it's tricky that way. And it's tricky from our loved one. They also have desires. In this case, my husband wanted to go and do this beautiful hike. We can't fault them for that. I would have said, I really don't feel like doing it tomorrow, but I know I'm in luteal and I know I'm going to start my period in 3 days. I will probably want to do it then. Do you mind if we wait to make the decision or we pencil it in for 5 days from now? If you don't know where you are in your cycle, you can't do that. Knowledge does give us power in this knowledge of our menstrual cycle gives us some power. It's just increasing the odds that we will have good experiences, that we will keep positive relationships and with those that we love, our community, our church friends, like all of it. Okay, one more story for you. During my husband's deployment, his family planned a Disneyland trip. They were going to Disneyland, and I remember being scared. I will have 3 little kids. How can I keep them safe in that big environment? Some of his siblings going on the trip, they'll have little kids too. Who's going to help me with my kids? I don't trust that I will be able to keep track of all of my kids. And it wasn't like I didn't think anybody wouldn't help. It's just I wasn't sure they would. Are grandma and grandpa going to be needing to help with these other kids, these smaller children, or other grandchildren? I didn't know. And also worrying about keeping up with them. We're going to slow them down. They're not going to get to do everything that they want to do. Now, if that doesn't sound like PMDD, I don't know what does. we, we're hyper aware of other people's needs and desires. And so that comes into play. I actually don't remember ever telling them, no, I'm not going to go on the Disneyland trip, or no, I don't feel comfortable doing it, or hey, do you think you would be able to help out with my kids, or um, anything. Even financially, I know they were really good about writing down the cost analysis and looking, and I don't remember how uncomfortable with the number I was. I don't remember having conversations about it. We well may have had them. They may have been saying, absolutely, we will help with your kids. Don't worry about it. If you want to go back and have a nap with one of your kids, or if you want us to take and have a nap, I don't know what was said. My guess is that I made the decision not to go in luteal and either told my husband or my mother in law. I do not remember that. If I knew now what I had known then, I would have tabled that decision. And if they were pushing and pushing, I would have said, if you have to make this decision and make these reservations now, we have to be a no. I'm just not comfortable enough to say yes yet. But if you can give me 4 days, right? If I knew that in 4 days I would be in follicular, if you can give me 4 days, I can have a yes or no for you. There are situations, this situation, others that I think negatively impacted our relationship with Trent's side of the family at the time. It's sad. It's like, darn it. I wish I could have known. I wish I would have seen some secular mood things going on. I think I had some postpartum depression in there as well. Okay. What else did I want to share? The last part is when you can't schedule something to your preferences. Check the calendar and see where it's going to land, and then prepare emotionally and physically for that event as best you can. If that means you're taking your antidepressant, great. If that means you're using a certain supplement, awesome. If that means getting more sleep, whatever it means for you, do those things. The natural things, getting sunlight, taking walks, being hydrated, exercising, also being honest in your communication. You don't have to say, I'm in my luteal phase and that's why I can't make this decision. You just say, I'm really not sure. I think a movie sounds great, but we could also just have a game night in the house. If you feel strongly about something, I really want to do a game night. I would really prefer that. And then we have to be human. You have to let yourself be human and let them be human in terms of they decide we're going to the movie anyway. I know you had a different preference, but there's a bunch of us that really want to do this other thing. Or there's this loud voice that really wants to do the movie. So we're going to choose the movie as a group. And then you get to be you It's okay to do what other people want. Sometimes it's harder inside, like you feel like you're betraying yourself to not do the thing you wanted to do, especially in luteal, or that they are betraying you because they're choosing something that you didn't want. But let that go. They love you. Remember that. If they're your friend, then they do. Underlying, they love you. Sometimes they're going to want to do something you don't want to do. So let it go. Be honest if you have a strong preference or if you don't have a strong preference, just let them know. It is tricky when they try to make you make the decision when you don't feel strongly. In luteal phase, that can bring up a lot of anxiety because then you're making this decision and you really don't care. Then do your best, but try to take some deep breaths and try to look at it objectively as if either of these are okay. What are we going to do? And I get to make this decision. And if they are mad afterwards, because I kind of have a feeling they want to do this thing, that's on them. They have given this decision to me and I'm going to make it. Emotional resilience comes in big time with that and loving yourself afterwards. People are unkind sometimes. They get to be unkind sometimes. We're unkind sometimes too. Oh, I was going to give you the example. I leave tomorrow. I'm flying out for my nephew's wedding and my dad's 93rd birthday. Woohoo! When I got the wedding announcement, I had filled out my tracker and I saw that that day was follicular cycle. I was like, yes, this is an easy yes if the finances it can support this decision. But let's say it wasn't that way. They didn't consult me as to when to put their wedding, and I would not expect them to. They shouldn't, right? And my dad's birthday, heaven forbid he have his birthday during my luteal phase. It's going to happen sometimes. If I were leaving tomorrow and not in my follicular phase, that would be a time for me to ponder how am I going to prepare and do I want to make the effort? How many other things do I already have scheduled that I'm going to make the effort for? Work commitments, medical appointment. How many of those things am I already fitting in the 2-week period where this wedding and or birthday are happening? And that's how I would go from there. All right. I love you, my friends. I hope that you are doing well. And I encourage you to download the PMDD stabilization guide, the brand new one, and have a great weekend.